Howdy folks. So this is my 3D printed DAM Hammer 7 lower. It's two parts for the main lower, and then I have a bunch of other parts for my custom build. This is the trigger and AR grip adapter part of the lower. This one's a little bit different than something I might sell as a kit because it has this extra flange at the end that is designed to fit my SIG stock. And it goes in there, lines up, bolt goes through. I can make them with or without. The actual grip lower is where all of the nuts are, and there are 6 of them. 6 1032 square nuts. And it gets a little hectic, but it holds up very well. This inside nut mixed with this one are what make the grip so stable. I haven't managed to break one yet with anything but a hammer, and I do mean like bolting this on and then hitting this part back here with a hammer on a different grip. This obviously that'll break it, but it should stand up to pretty standard wear and tear. It's still PLA, so I'm not sure it's really ready for a kit. I've got to try some ABS and some ASA, because temperature-wise it can still kind of melt. That's bad. This is the actual magwell. This one fits a DAM mag, and it uses the actual parts from a DAM mag for the release. I'm going to try printing my own and see how they hold up, but as it is, actually, they are, not while I'm holding it, drop free. It is ambidextrous, and it's pretty good. It's the push is a little stiff, but that's actually a good thing, I think. You're not going to accidentally release this. It resets every time, and so far I've had no feed problems. It's been pretty good. Now this does match the DAM mod to the hammer, so you do have to file or cut and then file, as I did, the silver areas essentially. This allows the DAM mag to butt up rather nicely. You probably don't have to go as far forward as I did or as far back, as you can see, but I figured err on the side of caution because it was my first one. And I used some measurements from the MCB hammer forum on doing it. So, alright, so I'm going to assemble this so you can kind of see. They go together as a single part and then attach to the hammer that way. They can come off differently. If you wanted to leave this attached and just take the magwell off, it would just be a little stiff. So there's two. I tried to make pretty much everything I could 1032, so it was standard 1032 and 1/8 inch head. So now I did find out this morning one of the downsides of PLA is it's kind of fragile and brittle sometimes. I've printed everything pretty beefy, as you can see, and at a pretty high infill. But for speed's sake of prototyping, I haven't been printing at anything over 30%. For production ones, once I get everything pretty much nailed down and I'm just about there, I'll try printing at a higher, but I did crack one this morning. You can see when I tighten this, boop, I pushed a little bit too hard and cracked that point right there. So I'm going to do some design work and see if I can reinforce that, but that's one of the flaws of PLA. Okay, so you can see that there's 2 square nuts to take the screws from the magwell, and then there's 2 other square nuts back here. These are for holes that I've drilled in the frame, and again, one of the benefits over the do-it-yourself is you don't have to guess where this goes. I can either make a template, or you can just use this with the T-nuts out and mark where the hole needs to go, and then drill it. These are not tapped, but they most certainly could be. It'd be, if you had a tap, it'd be pretty simple. But this just keeps the frame a little bit extra secure rather than just this nut that goes into the ASA. You do have to assemble at least the pin valve for you put the frame on, or you won't be able to get it in because of this. This uses the stock Hammer 7 trigger and the stock Hammer 7 trigger pin, and the spring that's on the Hammer 7 trigger. So you will need a lower, or you'll have to buy the parts. Alright, so everything just slips on. There is extra play in the front, so you just want to line up to the back. And obviously once you put it on the first time, there won't be extra play in the front because these side screws will determine where it goes. The guide rod, pump guide rod, is used in this one, just through that hole in the front. And it is not, it doesn't push this to the body, it just keeps the front from going wee. Alright, so I used set screws. I didn't feel there was enough material to use another flathead bolt. But set screws go through the square nut and then hold on to the body, and it holds it. If you were doing a build where you cut off the threads and ran the airline down through, this setup would work. Okay, so ASA goes on. Is it the right bolt? I think it's the right bolt. Unfortunately, other than just using those two bolts, I haven't found a way to leave the grip, the AR grip, on yet. So you'd have to take it off to remove the frame. AR grip attaches with this another 1032 bolt through the two square nuts that I attached before. Like so. I'm using a K2 because with my SIG stock it's a very short pull. But as this is pretty much just the lower, if you were going to use a straight stock and a buffer tube, use whatever the hell you want. Doesn't even have to be Magpul. Nice long. There we go. No wiggle. You can see pretty clean insertion. And that's the basic Hammer 7 lower. Hope you guys are interested. I am looking into making this an actual sellable kit. There might, in the future, depending on how I can fudge some things around, might be working with getting it done in other materials. But I think a 3D printed kit is a for sure thing I can sell in the next month. I could probably make a couple kits. I am just about out of filament, so not soon. Gotta order some, so 3 days. But I have not played with this yet. Anybody that was interested in a kit and wanted one pretty much immediately would have to understand that they are kind of a beta tester. This is just for fun for me. This is not a business. If I can help out fellow modders by finding them parts to get them at the correct kit, I think I could probably print both pieces on the bottom, which takes me about 13 hours, and go to the hardware store and pick up all the nuts and bolts and ship that as a kit. I'm not sure on price yet. I've had it kicked out to me that $100 would be pretty reasonable. I don't know. That seems pretty reasonable from my end because it's just the design and the labor and the printing. But I also know that a damn magwell is $35. And it's not a drop-in kit. You still got to cut stuff. You still got to drill a hole. So I don't know. Kick me some offers. What you guys think is fair? I think we could probably figure this out, and I can get you guys some kits, and I can get some beer money. Right?